What's going on, guys? Stribbers here. Welcome to episode 13 of Project Gotham Racing 2 Road to Platinum. In the last episode we did 4 more races in the Roadster series, and we're going to finish the Roadster series today with a street race, speed camera and another street race, and we'll also do the first event in the next series that we do unlock. So starting things off with a street race using the AC427, Florence for this one. 3 laps, and we are driving at night. So we've got 6 cars in this race, and there are 2 more ACs in this race, 427s, and they both have picked the same colour as me. What are the chances of that? Actually, that one might be grey. I can't really tell in the light. But round the first corner, you can easily overtake the rest of the cars, and then that AC went wide there, and those 2 ACs will battle it out now to try and catch you up. But a funny thing with this race, in the previous attempt I had, they were right behind me for the entire race. So I got ahead like I did now, and they were about half a second to a second behind in the whole race. But in this race, I'm not sure what happens, but each lap you seem to drop seconds on them. So by the end of this race, I was ahead by, I don't know, about 7 seconds maybe even more. So as you can see now, let's see what time they are behind. So that's 2 seconds already towards the end of the first lap. And it seems like, you know, they would keep that same distance throughout the entire race, maybe even close in, depending on how we drive. Because we drive okay in this race, not too bad. But I could do some corners better, but they seem to just slip behind. So it's 2.7 seconds again here. You take these corners nice, you'd have to brake a little bit, ease off the throttle, and then make sure you don't power slide, and just ease nicely through there. So we'll see how far they are behind now. See, it's way more. See, 4.2 seconds. Took that corner badly, hit the barrier, but it didn't slow us down too much. But as I said, we're just gaining a big lead here. This corner's quite tight. Got to make sure you can cut inside there to that narrow sort of corridor. And then I suffered from understeer there, as you do sometimes in this car. So I hit the barrier. But we are coming through now to one of the final corners of the second lap. Car behind 5.7 seconds. So as I said, I'm not sure what's happened in this one, but you know, I wasn't complaining. A nice easy win by the looks of it. As I said in the previous race, they were right behind me, you know, trying to almost overtake me at some points. But in this one, they kind of just gave up. I'm not sure what happened. 7.7 seconds behind. But we'll crack on and just keep driving well. Coming into this corner now, using the width quite nicely there. And as usual, when you're using this car, you've got to brake before you would with normal cars, with other cars. Brakes aren't very good, the handling's average, probably less than average actually, so usually the racing line, you can see the brake marks, the tyre marks. You brake a little bit before then in this car, because if you brake too far afterwards, obviously you're going to end up sliding into the wall. And we're now finishing off this lap with this straight here. Car behind is 10 seconds now, so it's more than I thought. Not complaining at all though. Easy race. Was ahead on the second corner, and we held the position throughout the race. So 1,900 kudos for that. They're still running, and 6,900 altogether. And that leads us into a speed camera, which you obviously have to use the 427 for. And we are going for a nice red in this one. So 75 miles an hour for hard and 86 for platinum. And I'm not sure why. Sometimes there's a massive jump between hard and platinum, and sometimes it's just 1 mile an hour. It might be due to the selection of cars you've got, but who knows. So this corner's not too critical. You can take this corner however you like. And this is the critical corner. We have to brake here, then use the width here feathering the throttle and then just floor it down there to just get 86 miles an hour. Yeah, probably my third attempt on that one. The key is, again, like it was with the Nissan Skyline and the speed camera, is just not to power slide. The more smooth you can be, the quicker the speed's going to be coming out. So that one wasn't too bad. And now into the last street race, and I did notice that the tracks of these two street races are nearly identical, bar the top of the track. So I'm just guessing that it's a reverse of the other track, so we'll be going the other way around. And this is in Florence again, obviously, the same track, and we're at night again. So the trick with this is, obviously, you fly past these cars, get ahead of the Renault, and then just brake so you don't get caught out by that Lotus and spun out. And then once you're behind him on the straight, you can use the better acceleration to get ahead. And now it's all about chasing that 427 that's made its way into the lead by quite a distance already, 1.5 seconds. So we're going to try and take these corners as best we can, using that little alcove there to take that corner wide. Yeah, we'll try and do as best we can to catch this car up, taking this corner nice and wide. Again here, so we're right on his tail. If we can get into his slipstream, start drafting. And he braked a little bit earlier than I thought, so I actually gave him a little helpful nudge from behind, which did actually move him out the way for us. Not the cleanest of driving, but it works. We're ahead of him, but can we keep ahead of him? So I did this corner wrong. You can actually just ease off the accelerator and fly through there to the wide point to the left, but I did brake because I forgot what corner was actually coming up. And if you take that little corner on the inside there, you can get a good line, so that's not too bad. Taking that one very nicely through there, making sure not to hit the barrier when you're on the outside of the corner. Still right behind us, 1 second. Again, using this little alcove there just to make the most of the track out wide. Cut inside here, and it can suffer from understeer there, so if you need to do a little power slide just to get your car straight, do that. Again, using the width out there, cutting in here and using the width out there again, so we're keeping a nice lead. What is the time behind? 1.8 seconds, that's okay. That's a comfortable margin really. As long as they're not right behind you trying to overtake you and cut you up in the inside of the corners. Now that corner I find quite difficult to take, to be honest. And in the last lap especially, I do screw that corner up. Taking that a little bit wider than I should have done. Didn't cut on the apex quite as I wanted, but there you get 22 for a good line if you take that the apex there on that long straight. Well, before going into the long straight, should I say. But we're sort of a quarter of the way through the last lap now. Car behind, 1.9 seconds, so he's staying about the same. Driving well enough. And I went on 2 wheels there, which is my nemesis in this game. Stops you turning, so you've got to brake a little bit more so you don't hit the barrier. Coming into this wide corner now, using the limits there. 2 wheels again. It's twice in this lap. You've got to weigh it up because you've obviously got to cut in and use the apex of the corner. But then you can also overdo it and go too close, go on 2 wheels and make it harder for yourself. And this is where I screwed this up. I went a little bit too wide on that. And if you look behind, he is catching slightly, but into this last corner now, we can just power through, just ease off slightly and over the line. Not too bad. Okay, that one. Street races aren't too bad. If you can get ahead early on and just defend your position, as we always do. 1.4 seconds behind he was, so we did catch up a little bit towards the end, but we have unlocked the Classic series, or Classics series should I say. There's a lot of cars in this series. I think it's the most cars out of all of the series, but you can see there, 6 of the series we've done. Quite a lot to go, but let's take a look at the cars in the Classics series. So we'll start with the hot lap. And the cars you do start with are the Toyota 2000 GT with poor acceleration, poor everything really. Yeah, this is the bottom of the class, and the Porsche Spider as well with slightly better stats but still dreadful. So those two cars are the starting cars, and they're both the worst cars as well to use. Nissan 240Z is the cheapest to unlock, and it's slightly better than the previously mentioned two cars. Slightly better handling, but again, this is really not very good in this class. So we'll move on to so Nissan 240Z we just talked about. Mercedes-Benz 300 SL is probably the next step up, along with the Ferrari Dino as well. These two cars are a little bit better. I'd say the Mercedes is probably all round a little bit better. The Dino's got quite poor acceleration, even though it does say 4 in acceleration. And the top speed's supposedly good, but after driving it, I don't agree. It's not a very strong car at all. And the Mercedes is okay, not too good. But the Porsche 911 is a very good little car, good at handling, falls down slightly on acceleration compared to the better cars in this class and on the top speed. But this is the most stable car out of the Classics. And then we've got the Jaguar E Type, which is definitely in the top 4 in this class. Very good acceleration, not very good top speed, and not brilliant at handling. And the other car in the top 4 is the Lancia Stratos. It's got quite a lot on power sliding, but it does handle pretty well in this class, and it's got decent acceleration to keep up with the other cars. And then we've got the Ferrari 250 GTO, and you can't buy this car. This is unlocked by completing the Kudos World Series on bronze. So you've got to get a bronze medal on every race to unlock that car. And the Ferrari 275 GT-B4 is the other car in this class, which is considered the best. So it's between the 250 GTO and the 275. Obviously you can unlock this one, so we have to use this one. But if I could, I would use the 250 GTO. It's slightly better acceleration, and I'd say it's probably a little bit easier to handle. But the 275 has got slightly better top speed, so it will catch it up eventually. But we use the 275 and we jump straight into a hot lap. 51.8 seconds is the time to beat. And you've got to be gentle with the throttle again with this car, as it does tend to kick the rear end out. And then my game did decide to cut about a second of gameplay out there. My capture card obviously had a bit of a freak out, so I apologise for that. But we move on to the straight, and then this corner especially is hard not to power slide on. You let go of the accelerator, and then as soon as you start turning it tries to power slide, so you've got to try and control that as much as you can. And then here you can't go quite flat out, you have to release the accelerator slightly and turn in, and then back on the power and use the limit of the corner there. A few attempts it took me, but that was a pretty good lap. 51.8 was a target, and we passed by 0.8 of a second, which for a hot lap is a substantial amount really, not too bad. But anyway, that is going to do it for this episode, guys. So in the next episode, in the Classics, we'll be looking at the timed run, street race, one-on-one, and a hot lap to finish it off. So I hope you enjoyed, guys. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.